Very building.
Nice one. And we are just live. All right, welcome to this week's live stream. This week it's Kaly.NYC. We've got Brennan, who is a Kaly rider, and Ernesto from Kaly. So to start us off, do you guys want to introduce yourself for the people who don't know you?
Freeze up.
I think Ernesto's lagging a bit. Brennan, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm a Kaly rider. I've had a Kaly for over a year now. It's awesome. Before that, I had other boards, but I needed something that could handle the hills here in San Francisco, and so I had to get myself a Kaly. So as soon as I wanted one, I couldn't get one because there was that time period where he wasn't selling them. But then as soon as he put them up that morning, I instantly went down and purchased one. So I had the first Kaly in San Francisco, and it's been over a year now. It's awesome.
Nice.
Ernesto, you with us, bro? I think we lost his audio now.
Yeah, I can't hear you, dude. '21st century.
Ernesto, we can't hear you, bro.
Thanks, Dan.
He's gone.
All right, he'll be back in a second.
Guys, what's going on? We've got some people in the live chat. We've got them all. Hello, mate. Dan Brevan, Stan, and Ben Brown so far.
Hey.
Thank you, baby. Brennan, do you want to tell us about what you ride, bro, while we wait for Ernesto to come back?
Yeah, so you got my Kaly right here. So I bought actually 2 drive systems and hubs. So I have, you can see the gold hubs, and back here you can see I have the gold.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. So I got black and gold, so I can swap out if I want to.
Nice.
Nice.
All right.
Ernesto, you're back.
So what happened when I was not here? I'm back. Can you hear me now?
You're linking company secrets.
All right. Cool. Nothing. Ernesto here. Kaly.NYC. Building boards for crazy ones and the people that wants to have fun. So that's all we do. So nothing. We're here right now in New York City, a big tense environment with protests and all that after the COVID. So it's a good time to be alive. Good stories for your grandkids. Remember that time when we went crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When everyone grew crazy hair.
So yeah, well, that in history there's some mini ice age that happened some time ago, like in the 1300s, something like that. We're gonna have a mini crazy age, so that's what we're doing right now. So guys, tell me.
So I've got some community questions already. So I'll quickly whiz through a couple of those so I don't forget them. So Brennan, which one is your favorite and why? Kaly 2.0, 40, or 50?
I mean, I only have the 2.0, which is, I mean, I'd like a more range sometimes, but I also don't want it to be heavier. So 2.0 is my sweet spot. One of the things about the Kaly that was more appealing about every other board is it's got a really sleek looking design. It just looks amazing, and it's as compact as possible for all the power you get from it. So that's what I liked about the 2.0. Even if I could, like, go for the 40 and 50, I don't know. I'd rather stop and charge quick and have a lighter board because I use it everywhere. I mean, literally, I everywhere I go, I'm on the Kaly. So.
Cool. So is this your main kind of form of transport?
Yeah, everywhere I go. I mean, I go to work with it when I used to go to the office, and if I go across town to meet somebody, I would take Kaly.
Nice. Ernesto, are there any plans for a Kaly 3.0?
Well, there's not like a plan for a Kaly 3.0 to actually just scrap and do another design. I'm taking more of you could say like a Porsche type of approach. We have an architecture that actually works pretty good. We just need to improve in it and just keep improving it. Make sure that everything is backward compatible. So if you at any time you can jump on the Kaly, and you can be sure that we will not leave you behind. So you can always upgrade to the newest part. So I think that's the best way to approach it. Just changing the whole design to me will be something that you will do for an experiment. So let's say, okay, let's do 10 or 15 of this exclusive batch, and we're gonna do that. And now we can do that like I could call it like a Kaly's lab. So we had that like monster lab that we do some custom crazy boards, and we do a small batch of them. That will be better. But
Okay.
I like the architecture of the 2.0, basically, because all the boards are basically the same 2.0. You just getting more battery range, but basically it's a 2.0 architecture, and it's so much that so much more potential that we can squeeze out of it, that I think we can be set good for a good time with this architecture.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the main point.
So will there be I think it's a wilder, is this a wilder deck, or is it supposed to be wider deck?
Oh, well, the new deck, because finally I found a company that will relieve me of my duties of making the deck myself by hand, which, dude, it's crazy. Like doing it yourself, you need to offload that thing to somebody. But as you know, most of the companies that do decks or do carbon fiber decks, they just do that hard deck, crazy deck, or they do the super thin deck that is just not right to me. So I had a bunch of trouble trying to find somebody to allow me to design the whole tooling, and then they give me the biggest problem is, all these companies, they had these heat presses because you need like 40 tons of pressure on these decks. So they have all the tooling for the heat press, but the companies don't like to give their tooling to individuals. They like to charge you for that, and they charge you a ton for something that you could do yourself. But I can do it myself, so I just take Fusion 360, design everything. All I need is what they have there, so this part that I'm designing can just click over there. So at the end, I found a company that actually allowed me to do that, and I was able to design the mold and save $10,000 in the process.
Wow.
So
okay.
now I have, yeah. Well, I'm telling you, because that's their bread and butter. You don't have access to tooling, so you can't design it. So why you take your leave it? So now I find somebody who's willing to work, and they do all type of industrial work. But they say, what, if you do it and it works, they throw it off a little bit like that, like get you out of the way, because I was already begging too much for too long. And they're like, okay, if you do it and it works, we'll do it. So I did it, and they saw that it works, and they say, oh, fucking guy, okay. So now we have that, and that's gonna help us to have more inventory, and it's gonna help us to have stuff made to our specifications. So I see it as a printer, as a 3D printer. No,
Okay.
I do all the parts, I do all the design, I do all the tooling, and they just have the machine that prints it over there, and that's it. So
Question for Brennan: why a Kaly and not Lacroix?
Well, so I bought my board. It was back 2018 December is when when Ernesto put the boards for V 2.0 up for sale. So at that point, I remember Alex had given an interview and he basically explained that his prototype board was mostly stock parts. And, as much as he, thought it was a good board, he said he can do better. He wanted to go custom as much as possible. So I was very interested in, I wanted the V2.0 for his board, but it wasn't out yet. But then Ernesto came out with his. So, I definitely wanted a Kaly for sure, because the design looks amazing to me. And by the time the Le Croix came out, I was already pretty much set for a while with the board I had. And actually I have I almost have enough to build a second Kaly. Just waiting on getting a new deck.
Nice.
And then, I've been trying to source a wood deck, but I can't seem to find one that's going to work for me. I just like the look and feel of a wood deck. So I've been trying to figure out what to do with that, but I might end up getting one of the new decks from Ernesto as well.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd like to see a few changes with the quad boards, because I want the deck to be a little more appealing to me. I like the edges of the Kaly. I don't know, just the shape of it is just great. How does that not look awesome?
It's a nice looking board.
How do you find the wings, Brennan? The wings on the edge of the deck.
You kind of put your feet in there. You can kind of get a feel for it, and that's really nice about it. And maybe that's one of the differences with the Le Croix. Le Croix is kind of it's a big, kind of flat shape, and with the Kaly, the fins that pop up on the sides, you sort of can feel where your feet are, and so when you want to push for a turn, you can feel it, and that's good.
Awesome.
Let me jump in more and elaborate on the wings and the deck. The whole shape of the deck was started. Let's call it how it is. It started inspired by the Trampa deck. Simple, because I was using Trampa equipment before, and I always liked that equipment because it was the deck itself. It was solid, as a tank. It has a quality that once you master the deck, you master the way the deck is supposed to be used, which is not like a normal skateboarding deck. And once your subconscious learns to trust that deck, it's really good. But you can always improve. So you can always improve. So we were already starting off a nice concept that was pretty good high. So I decided, okay, what are we missing? What are we missing from regular from riding e-boarding? To me, it's not about skateboarding, because this thing looks like a skateboard. It's just not a skateboard. Just throw that out the window, scratch it off, put it in the garbage, and forget about it.
For sure.
High precision downhill board, it's a totally different animal than what we're doing right now. So once I decided to produce my own thing, I didn't decide. They kicked me out, but that's another story. So once I was forced to actually design my own thing, I said, okay, cool. What is the thing that I need to keep, and what is the new things that I need to bring, and how can we do this good for e-boarding? So the main thing with e-boarding when you're riding a board, a high-performance board, is you don't have the time to look at the surface of the road. You don't have the time to look at the drivers. You don't have the time to see where your foot are. You don't have the time to see how the cracks are. So you don't have time. So it's more about time. So my whole point was, okay, then the deck needs to be about feel. You need to know where you are on the deck at all times without looking at the deck. So that's why the edges on the wings on the side, they're not straight. It was good that they came out looking the way they look, but the angle is to let your toes, so you're feeling with your toes. Normally people don't realize it until they sit down until they sit down to think about what they're doing when they ride. Then you realize that you're feeling with your toes. Once you're feeling with your toes, now you don't need to look down. So you always know where you are on the deck, because when you are carving and having your fun, it's all nice. But if you wanna gun it, sometimes you don't have the time to look, because it could be that you have one of those a-holes on the car telling you that you don't belong on the road, and you need to get out of there. So how you kind of just readjust your position and go for it. But that is like what? Maybe a quarter of a second. You don't have that much time. You need to get out. So once you spend enough time on the deck, it start to feel like natural. So you know what to do without thinking about it. And to me, that's all. That's my whole point. How can we have the fun that we want to have and remove the board? You're doing something, because this is the fun part. It's not that you're riding a board. You're having a blast, and you want to keep having that blast. It's the feel. Like you want to make the board kind of disappear in all this thing that you're doing. Because everybody goes to ride because of the fun. It doesn't matter if you have a rocket. If you're not having fun, you're not having fun.
For sure.
That is where the deck came to be. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got another question for Brennan here. You are the most prepared e-skater I know and have brought many spare Kaly parts for any future problems. Which spare parts are essential to have?
Let me show you. So I'll show you my pack. So I try to have as small pack as possible because, I don't want to have a heavy pack. It comes, so Ernesto ships it with an 8 amp charger, but I got the 6 amp charger, just a little bit smaller. And then I cut it off it came with the XC60 connector, and I basically put a pin together to go into the Kaly. I do have a fire blanket just in case, because
Brilliant.
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 It's not just for me. It's other DIYers on the group rides have had fires. So if we do need to cover something, all right. So here's my kit. So I can inflate my tires. I got a spare tube. That's always good. I've got a lazy rolling tool.
Yeah, nice. Got that one.
Gotta have the patching. Gotta have the Allen keys. And this is actually the essential tool for me. You can see that here. Camera, yeah, there. So this is the tool for. So you need to basically use the Allen key on this side, but on the other side, you need to be able to hold the nut so it doesn't spin. So unfortunately, if you have to change the tire in the front, you need this so you can actually take it apart. And so I only bring one tube, and then I bring a patch kit just in case I flatten more than one tire.
Nice.
But inside the tires now, I have 2 layers of one layer of Mr. Tuffy. Ernesto says he uses 2 layers, so I might do that.
Yeah, 2 layers.
Yeah, but Ernesto lives in New York, though, right? It's probably quite gnarly around there.
These roads are brutal.
Yeah.
I went for like a few weeks
ride.
where I got a flat every week, so
yeah,
I need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I bring the full spare that he sends.
Nice, Ernesto. So going back to the boards, bro. I think I heard that you dropped the XL50 from your lineup, but now maybe it's coming back. Is that true?
Well, this is the story of the XL50, right? So I was trying last year, after I finished with the XL 2.0, I was trying to just design something for my diesel guys. It was not even for the range. So I got a couple clients, they were a bit heavy set, and everybody was like, dude, you need to show some love. I said, okay, let me sit down and see what we can do. So I got this guy, and then we did a nice set for his body, and it was huge. So I sat down, I was able to squeeze all those 12S, 12P in there. But then the funny thing is that you got the guys that weigh like 175 pounds, but they still want an XL50. So
yeah,
for what? I didn't catch it at the beginning. So I sold the XL50. Guys got it. Everything was going fine until you have a guy with a board, and he has maybe a week and a half with a board, and he already destroyed the body. Because the board can perform like a tank, it looks like a tank, but you cannot just treat it like a tank because you're running. So he ran over a huge rock, and you have a 12S12P battery setup destroyed from front to the back. He said he never saw the rock, so I can imagine he was doing like 30 something miles per hour, and he just ran it through the whole battery pack. So that was the first signal they should have caught, but it happens a couple more times. Another guy was jumping ramps with an undermounted battery, huge battery too.
On an XL50.
And XL50 is the problem. Everything is XL50, guys. So that was my whole thing. I'm like, oh, there's something going on over here. I didn't catch up until the third guy. So the third guy, it was winter in the city. It was beginning of fall or mid of fall. So the city said that there was gonna be like a snowstorm. So they put a little salt. This guy had a couple of accidents on the board already, and his enclosure, one of the inserts has come off because of a hit. So he had a crushed enclosure, and he's riding in the rain with salt, tons of salt on the road. So that battery got destroyed, totally destroyed. So then I went back and checked my logs of all the clients, and then I realized, oh, all this crazy stuff is just the XL50 guys. So I'm like, I don't know if it's causation, but it was definitely some correlation in there. So I said, no, I cannot deal with that, because then my insurance company was, they had an eye all the way up here. Because remember, in the US, you need to have your liability insurance for your products. And they're like, dude, what the fuck's going on? Like, what's happening there? I'm like, no worry, let me see. And then I checked. I went through the 2.0 guys, no problem. The 2.0s, the 40s, no problems at all. Everybody's same and nice. The guys that actually need an XL50s, everything good. So it was just the crazy ones that wanted the over the top, everything. I say, okay, so I took it off the lineup. I took a few orders, but over the phone, so I could gauge the temperature on the person. And now it's back for some time. Let's see how it goes. And if it goes into madness again, you're gonna have to pull it off, because the boards are awesome, but dude, you need to remember, it's a machine, it's a board. You can't slam it onto something. You kind of think, if you want to jump, get it. We can do a top mounted board, top mounted battery, and that would be good. But you kind of take something underneath and just slam it on the floor, and it's just nuts. But it's back, so it's back now for some time. Let's see.
Good. And how is the pre-order with the Hellcat wheels going? How are you doing with those?
Well, the Hellcats, I was sitting around. I had a project with someone that has a Lone Star, and then I got those white wheels. So I was, okay, for those wheels, we need, for those flat tires that I love for the grip, because that was my whole point of those tires. When you carving or taking a turn on those big fat tires, you're gripping like crazy.
Yeah,
it will affect a little bit your range. But my whole point is, this is racing. This is racing wheel. This is racing things. You're not looking for a lot of range. You're looking for being able to take that curve maybe 5 more miles per hour, maybe 10 more miles per hour. So that's what you're looking for. So I decided to actually start playing with it. And at the end, I said, fuck it, let's do the whole setup. Let's do a full CNC hub. Nobody has it. Then there is the other issue. It's these little guys. So this is a thrust bearing. So this bearing has 2 rows of bearing balls, and they are at a contact angle. So if you push this way, you have support, lateral support both ways.
Yeah.
So how many bearings have you changed in Brennan in a year on your board?
None.
So that is the difference. I was riding my board when it was Trampa based on regular. It doesn't have anything to do with Trampa, but it comes to be that it was a regular U channel bearing. You got one bearing in the middle, and you have the U channel to hold the bearing. So that bearing doesn't hold any lateral forces. So I was doing like 30 miles per hour in Queens Boulevard. And when I got to the Tribal Beach, I picked up my board, sideways, the wheel drop. The wheel drop. Because the wheel just dropped. And I didn't even realize the guy that was riding me was Ernesto. Your wheel just dropped. So let me see. When you have a bearing and this one in the outside gets blown up, your wheels come off.
Yeah.
That's it. Simple as that. So I was like, oh my God, I just picture myself, Queens Boulevard, New York City, 35 miles per hour in traffic, because we was riding in traffic. If that wheel comes up on the back, I'm dead. Simple as that. So I just, that same day, I got busy, went through a lot of parts, went through a lot of catalogs, trying to find what we can use that is rated for what we're doing. And I just found it, SKF does a nice bearing. Then I found a manufacturer that could do it way cheaper than SKF and still with the same quality. So that is the main thing about those fat tires and the ones I put. It's a bearing for what we're using it.
Nice. And when are you expecting to get the wheels out to the guys that have pre-ordered them?
Oh my God! This is okay. Here's the wheel, because I have a ton of story. So I took the guys. I want 500 units of the wheels. I have one right here. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna order 500 units. I order the units. We talk about the price and the shipping. So shipping is good. It's like $1,100 to $100. So I'm okay. We could deal with that. Then the shipping company just gave an estimate. So this was pre-corona. That was the problem. Pre-corona. So I say, go, do it. They do everything, and now they need to ship. When they come in to ship, they go to the same company. Oh yeah, it's 6,000 or 6,300, something like that. I'm like,
just for the shipping. Just for the shipping.
Just for the shipping, yeah. Just for the air freight. So I'm like, 6,000. This is not happening. I'm sorry, fuck it. I'm sorry, this is not happening. So I went and just got it sea freight. Just send it via sea. Taking a few long, but nobody's paying that much more money. So that's been all the issue. But they coming, they halfway. So that's good. We got the same thing. Yeah, the same thing with these guys. So this is the fat one. And they coming. So these are from the first prototypes. But the shipping world is up. It's upside down right now, and that is the problem, big time. Yeah, but they're coming. They're gonna be good. We're gonna have the Hellcat White specifically for the MBS and the hyper trucks. Basically, it's the same base, the same architecture.
Yeah.
So, not the same architecture, but the same. Not ball pattern. I will say the dimension that actually count, they're the same.
Okay.
So for the wheel to fit in both. So it's based on everything is based on the MBS the MBS hub. So we'll just took the main dimensions and just make this thing fit.
Make it wider.
It's a huge berry. It's a huge berry. Yeah.
It is a big bearing, actually. So, listen, Ernesto, in the UK, we're going through a bit of a weird time with legislation. We don't quite know how it's going to sort of pan out here with eskate. But one thing that keeps coming up is we think there's a possibility that we're going to be required to have mechanical brakes in the UK on our boards, possibly in order to get them legal. Have you considered, for your design, because obviously I know you quite like to get into these countries that are going to have this legislation, have you considered anything to do with mechanical brakes at all?
Yeah, we got some of that. Let me give you my point of view when it comes to DIY. Like in New York law about transportation, that's why you could have your custom cars. You see those custom crazy cars that guys do that no company does. So if you do your own thing, you could do a custom vehicle and it's legal. You can even register. It doesn't matter what it is. That's why you see those programs that they do, these crazy creations. That is legal, at least in New York. I know in California it is too. It's legal to do custom custom things. You don't need to be a factory or one of those mass car companies to do it. You could do your own thing in your backyard and put it together. So you need to comply with requirements. So right now we have software based. We could do tail lights with brakes. We could do turn signals. That's good. If we put it up to be, we could have the headlights too. So then we're still using the regen brake. The regenerative brake is good, but there's no way that's gonna be legal anytime soon. That's out of the window. So that's not gonna happen, because like in my case, excuse me for that. In my case, I don't bypass the BMS, so all the currents going through the BMS all the time. So in the first couple of miles, you're gonna have to be careful with the BMS cutting off. It's something that it sounds harsh, but it's not that bad. We've been working on trying to get some rheostatic brakes with a few companies to try to set it up so we have like a capacitor bank that can suck that energy off, and we have done that. But then we need to still keep coming. Like I have work on I've been seeing this guy like this is a Shimano Ultegra
Brake caliper.
caliper. It's a brake caliper, proper hydraulic brake caliper. And I've been playing too. This is a Magura brake caliper. So these are actually brake calipers, and they work with proper hydraulics. So I've been playing around with all these things. So there's a lot of consideration. Like these are the brake pads. So you have ceramic brake pads, you have resin brake pads, and there's the whole difference between how one system goes to the other. The other thing is that the angle.
Oh no, we lost him. The crucial moment.
So what is this? What is this law? Is it requiring, like, I know like regular mountain boards that don't have motors, they have a manual brake. Is that what they're asking about for the law?
Well, I mean, we don't know yet, but potentially we could be required to have a mechanical brake. So, and I mean, this could be something that goes across the whole of Europe, which is a big market for a lot of electric skateboard companies. Yeah, Ernesto's gone, man. But yeah, so companies need to be.
So it could be a hydraulic disc.
Yeah.
Hydraulic disc lock. Right?
Oh, guys, you talk.
I got some motorcycles.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know what's going on with Ernesto, but it looks. He's back. You're
Something
alive.
happened. I don't know.
You're back.
I'm back.
They're leaving. All right, they're gone.
Yeah.
So
because I'm connected to my phone. I think that's causing trouble.
So you're working on some hydraulics.
Yeah, so we're working on a hydraulic system. We're working on the disc brake. Let me put it like this so you can actually see what we got. So this is like a mock-up, just because there's something that I need to test. First, you need to test the distance from where the caliper will bite to the center to see that you have enough, that you can produce enough force to stop, to stop properly. But besides that, this thing needs to clear the ground. You kind of have a rock hit your disc brake, bend it, and throw you off like crazy. So we try, so you don't want that. So we're working on all that, and also how to make a bracing system that will act as a heat sink also. Because when this thing gets hot, like if you're going 35, 45 miles per hour, and now like with Jeff and the Croc guys pushing everything to 70 miles per hour with the storm core. So we're gonna need some heat management system for real, serious stuff. So that's the direction things are going. I like 35, but fuck, if you wanna go 70, I do something for you to go 70 and at least come alive on the other end. But we're working on that. Basically right now I was checking the design of the Magura brake pads versus the Shimano brake pads, because I cannot just jump in and say that I know how this thing works as good as them, because they have ton of experience on that. But there's certain things that you tend to see, and this design to me is the best one, just for the simple fact that, let me show you this. This is the caliper of the Magura caliper. So if you put this guy there, where it goes with the piston, let me see if you can see it.
Yeah.
You could tell that once the piston moved that brake pad into the disc, it's far away from the aluminum. So the body of this caliper cannot actually cool it off. It's separated. It's gonna be separated by a few millimeters. So we need to use some heat management system on the brake pad. So these guys already did it, so that's good. That's perfect. We just need to see what's in the market and try to bring it in here, which I think the whole community should be well served with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. For sure.
The way I see legislation for e-skates, it needs to be for the same reason you see dogs sniffing people in the airport. It's all about how comfortable you are with what you are interacting. I bet you that there's a couple of machines that can sniff you properly, and it will be 1,000 times better than the dog. But then everybody has an opinion, because they don't know the machine. They know a dog, and they just shut up and don't say anything. It's a dog. The dog, people in their mind, people know that the dog was sniffed, and they kind of argue that. So if you go with your e-skates and you have all the whistles and belts, and you already set up, there's nothing they can say. You know what I mean? And then we start a conversation with something that you want to legislate. Perfect. So this is what we got. We came ready. Try to poke a hole. So I think that's the way we should do.
Yeah.
Some nice brakes, some nice lights.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're certainly the first company I know of that's publicly said that they're looking into mechanical stopping, which I think is going to be so important in the future. It's going to have to be done very, very cleverly. I don't know how the remote will interface with that system or whatever.
Well, I like things to look slick all the time. That's why I don't even put that many lights on my boards, because I don't like the wires and stuff. So I like everything. It needs to be functional, and it needs to be aesthetically pleasant to see. So it doesn't matter how good you design something, how perfect design it is. Okay, since my extended family is Russian, let me go there. So when you see the Russian machinery, it's not gonna break. It's good, but it's look fucking awful. so you're like, you tend to see those 80s Russian machines from the 80s. I won't say from now, because now I kind of say, but from the 80s, you'll be like, I don't trust it that much. But the thing's good. The thing is solid. It's a good foundation. The only problem is you need to put aesthetics on it. So it cannot be just functionality. So for that, I've been working and wrapping around a hydraulic system that can be controlled via the desk. So I had just a different module that will actually do all the braking for you, and it will have what is the word? So you could control the brake depending how much pressure you put on the remote. So that can be done easy. So that's an easy solution, because I was thinking before I was doing you see those steering wheels dampers, the Honda CR, they have some nice steering dampers that are electronically and hydraulically controlled. So I did a deep dive onto those things. I already was almost ready to design the one for the board, but then the cost of that system was like out of the question. So it was just too much money. And then I set up. I just let me pull this up. I just set up for. I just set up for the barrels. Genso, Trump, they've been using the barrels. The only difference is that they've been using stock barrels for industrial machinery, which are good, awesome barrels. But we need something custom purpose designed for us. So. I tested. A few guys tested with me. I went through a few iterations, So now we're gonna have a set of hard and soft.
Oh,
And
nice.
with the four position of the springs that we have, everybody will be able to fine tune the board to where they want it. So that's why I stopped the automatic electronic hydraulics steering
Yeah.
damper system.
I think we
But
did.
with the knowledge,
Sorry, there's a
what
delay, bro. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay. Go
okay, I see. But with the knowledge that I got from that deep dive into electronic hydraulic systems, now I see that it can be applied to the braking system pretty well, pretty seamless.
So those barrels that you just showed
do.
then, which are yellow, have you got those in different colors, or are they just coming in yellow? Or
Well, they're gonna be red. They're gonna be red solid, like bubblegum red. You know, you can't go wrong with Corvette red at any point. So, and then we're gonna have a translucent red. So it's gonna be a softer one for light people. You know, if you light, you put them in front and the back. If you a little more of a daredevil, then you put on the back the hard ones, and then in the front the softer ones. And you know, if you're a heavy set person, then you go for all hard ones all around. But the good thing is that with the 4 holes, like this board is too big. Give me a second. I'm gonna get it there. I can deal with this. So with these guys, which are for the springs, for the tensioner, so setting it up inside or outside give you a ton of flexibility, and depend how much you compress the dampers. So I think with this setup in the front and the back, a lot of people you will fine tune the settings that you want. You'll make that board yours, you know. So
it's really good. Different Duros.
Now,
Nobody's done that yet. They're all the same Duro. It's that industrial, because the dampers people don't realize they're made for machines that they come set as in the durometer they are, but you'll be the first person to have custom Duro elastomer.
Well, there's a company that does it, a German company, EFFB, something like that. And the company, Germans like to name the company really good, really industrial. So that thing is set up for what it is. That's why it's hard to translate it. But I've been testing this, and they translate pretty well. So that's cool. That's what we're gonna do. They already done. So I'm just waiting for them.
So we talked about LaCroix earlier. I've been dying to ask you, actually. They're coming out with their 18S boards using their new 100 volt controller, and I assume that you're going to be using. I'm assuming you're going to be using the LaCroix Storm Core when you run out of unities or whatever. Are you going to do a high voltage board as well, or?
Well, my problem with right now jumping to high voltage is that I need to set up high voltage in the future. Don't get me wrong. That's where we're going, and that's it. That's where we're going. All the data that everybody's been tracking and keeping an eye, it's already indicated that our main problem is the heat. So we need to heat management in the electronics. Like I said, even the brakes, we need heat management, and the only way we can do that right now in the electronics is with high voltage. That way we could draw less amps. The main thing is that all of us that are in this thing, we're a bunch of cycles. So somebody's gonna tweak that shit, go crazy fast. Like this is gonna go crazy fast. So all the components, even if I set up the board in a way like really you have a 12S 9P in the XL50, right? If I reconfigure the same amount of cells, I could do a 18S 6P on that same board without changing anything from the get-go. All I need to do is reconfigure. If you do the math on this on the packs, 12S 3P, 18S 2P, it's the same amount of cells, so I don't need to change anything. All I need to do is just reconfigure the PCB for the wiring and get the BMS I'm using for the XL40 is a 15S BMS, so I just need to reconfigure and change it to 18S BMS, and it's like Let me see. It's a small BMS, so I could just put it in there. But my main thing is I need to make sure that you can stop that board. I need to make sure that the bearings are going to be rated for that board. I need to make sure, I need to cover all the bases on that. And believe me that I want to do it because I want to test it. But there's a lot that I know that can go wrong if all the components, like I'm using gear drives, right? So the type of plastic, the type of steel that I'm using, I could use metal. The problem with the metal is that when it comes to gear, it's not about how much you can push. It's about how the surfaces can slide one from the other. Like if you put a metal there and that metal then is not heat treated, then the price is just skyrocket. So you need to have certain properties of that material in order to make that transition smooth. So you could take the board like around, how many miles you have on your board, Brennan, already?
Mine, I have no idea. We do 20, 30-mile rides on the weekends, and every weekday when I was going to my office, my office is just right over here, I was going at least 6 to 10 miles every day. So that's over a year.
Yeah, so that is. And how much work have you done on the gear drive?
None. I mean, I did a clean once just because I wanted to make sure I did it right once, but I haven't needed to do it really with the new one. I inject grease into it occasionally to make sure there's enough in there. That's all I really need to do. And the only other real work I've done is I swapped out the original remote receiver for a Hoyt puck, and that's it.
For a Hoyt puck, yeah, that's good. So the main thing is that my main goal with the boards is like a fucking refrigerator. You forget that the refrigerator is a machine. That thing's working there, but you forget because thing doesn't. I still have a lot of respect for belts. But I've been dealing with belts a long time, and I know how the things go. And then everybody it's going to end up in gear,
sure.
Whether or not people say, they could argue whatever, they could say whatever they want to say. But believe me, that's where we're going. It's period. So it's better, the faster we do it, the better it will be. So once we go certain speeds, once we go certain RPM, so if we're going to put 80 volts, we're going to be bumping the RPM. Instead of 4,000, we're going to be talking about 6,000 RPMs or more. And from my point of view, if I'm going 80 volts, I want at least a 160 kV motor because I want to be in the sweet spot that I could have the whole performance at the low end and I could have the whole speed at the top end with the same system.
Yeah.
I can include. So that's my whole point. And for that, then I need to review all the parts. It's not just one, it's all the parts. Like my trucks, right? Most of the time I would like to have a stronger axle. But then I have an axle that is designed that if you crash the board like around 30 miles per hour against something, the axle will bail you out a few $100 because the axle is designed for that impact to give way. That way you don't damage the whole hanger. That way you don't damage the whole hub. That way you don't damage the whole top mount. So it's just a whole system. Because if something happened, I want to have, it's like a fuse. I want to have a point where I know what's gonna break. If you go faster than that, then I'm sorry, it's gonna be all out of the window. So that is my problem with higher speed and higher performance. That we need to be ready because we don't want nothing bad to happen. And once you go about certain speeds, anything can happen, and it can look so bad at this stage of what we're doing because that's the whole problem, If people go on a bicycle downhill, like we went to Denver, Colorado, and we went onto this mountain, really, really nice. The police was after us, and the freaking bikers, they were going maybe 70 miles per hour downhill on those bikes. Crazy speed. But you know what? The bike's been with us before the cars, so nobody can say nothing. It's a bike. That's a given. So we need to be very careful what we do, because the next few years, the way we are pushing this thing, we can't screw it up for all of us. Simple as that.
Yeah, we're definitely thinking like that in the UK as well, trying to not go crazy, because we're at a turning point around the world. I mean, they say 2020 was supposed to be the year that what we're doing was going to go mainstream, but obviously Corona has had other plans for us. But actually, just a question there in the chat: how have you been doing through Corona? How's the business been? Have you kept steady, or in fact, there you go. There's the question: how's business been during COVID?
Well,
have you struggled, or?
Well, look, in the first month of this year, I was seeing a trend that things that were slowing down. They were slowing down. I didn't know why, but I got so much shit to do that I'm not keeping the track on the news. I was not aware that people were getting scared. And then I have a few guys. They business guys. They do companies. These people with money. So they tell him, Ernesto, what's up? What we're gonna do? I see you still alive. Because that's the first thing. Like, can your company survive? Like, okay, I see it's been a few years, still here. So what can we do? And they asking, and you know what? That's the trend. I don't know. This was by the time that boosted, just throw the towel. So I was like, I don't know what's going on, but there's something going on. I couldn't put my finger because I was just with my head in the shop. I was not checking news. I'm not seeing all these things that's happening. And then it hit me when I put my head out. I said, okay, this coronavirus has everybody a little bit, they holding up a little bit. And the type of client that I market my stuff, because even if I don't show up too much, I'm always trying to put myself on the foot of the other person. Like, I don't mind about, like, I don't care about being the number one selling brand and all that. It's simple as that. I don't care about that, because if we are, we are. If we don't are, we don't are. I don't care. But I want certain type of people to get bored, and for that, you need to try to attract those people that are mature enough to have fun, mature enough to appreciate what we're doing, appreciate the quality, appreciate the little details, and they are mature enough to actually hold themselves up a little bit, not be in the public going crazy with bored. If you want to go crazy, let's go to a race, let's go to a track and go crazy. But so that's why it's a more mature type of market. It's a more mature type of person, and that, to me, it's perfect for the type of business that I want to do. But at the same time, when things get a little sketchy, because that type of person is the type of person that already did the math and said, you know what, I want this stuff, but I'm gonna hold up a little bit because I want to see how this thing comes in the other side. It's unfortunate for me, but it's not bad, because what I'm dealing with now. Okay, this guy is not a crazy person. This guy is actual somebody that's wants to have fun and get home without being hurt. And to me, that's all I want. I want to have blast and get home without being hurt. And it's all about a mentality. To me, when you hit the ground on one of these boards, that was the last part. But you'll be falling maybe for 3 hours already, and you don't know it. Like, your decisions already have you on the ground. You just don't know it yet, but you're already down. So it takes the whole mindset of when you're riding, when you're having too much fun, when you want to go for it, and then you should just chill a little bit at that moment. But maybe because you're having too much fun, you don't see it. So I aim for those type of people that are more subdued, even though it doesn't look like we're riding, but believe me, they're riding at the skill level most of the time. The only thing is around 30 miles per hour, just a little bit higher.
Cool. I've got a couple more community questions here just come in. I guess I should have asked this at the beginning, really. But where did the name Kaly come from?
Kaly. Oh, they used to call me Kaly when I was a kid. So it was for two things. It was for the goddess of destruction. They used to call me Kaly, and they used to call me Cain. I just used to like to do a lot of bad things. I was being kind of risky, Like risk to reward ratio is always been fucked up in my head. So I always like to do crazy stuff. And they used to call me that, like, oh, this guy can destroy us all. And, and that's it. It's been calling Kaly since I can remember. So Kaly, and we are where we are. We are in NYC, Kaly.NYC, that's it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, people are looking at getting more and more range out of their boards. What kind of range do people get, like real world range out of your boards? And are you looking to add more range to what you've got already?
Well, the range I get, I'm 200 and maybe 220, 200, which is this pandemic, maybe 225. And I got like around 23. What happened?
Are you talking in pounds?
Pounds.
Yes, yeah, that's a lot of kilos.
It's like 100 kilos.
Yeah, no kilos. Yeah, no, yeah. It's like 100 kilos, something like that. And I got like around 23, maybe 24 miles in New York City. I use a 2.0 for the same reason Brennan used a 2.0. I like the balance between the range and the portability. So when it comes to more range, I like the XL40 too, because if you're trigger happy and you want to go all the time, to me the XL40 is a sweet spot, because the 50 has a massive range. But then when you're using the board itself, it comes in the way. It has the top mounted ESC. If you need it, you need it. If you're 260 pounds, if you are maybe 250, you need it, go for it. That's good. You're gonna have your fun. But if you're a guy that 180 to 200 pounds, the 40 will do more than enough. And that's the range you're gonna get. We never do estimates. I just get on the board and hit it, go all the way. When it dies, I take an Uber back, and that's it. I say, okay, look, this is how much I got. Yeah, that's the range test. Yeah, you have to be like that. You can put numbers to that thing. Yeah.
So Brennan,
you never know how you ride it, but
20 or 30 mile rides, is that in one charge?
Well, it's hard to say. We have a lot of hills here, and so when we go through the Presidio or we go up to Twin Peaks, you can obviously use a lot more battery. In the beginning, I wasn't as fast as I am now, so when I go faster, I'm using a lot more battery much faster. So my range is decreasing because I'm going faster.
Okay.
But also, I like to ride with friends on either large group rides or small group rides. And some of my friends tend to have boards that only have like a 15-mile range. So what I do is I actually use a Strava app to map out rides, because it's designed to be sensitive to hills for cyclists, which is really great. And so I use that to map out my ride. I export the GPX for that. I pull it into Google Maps, and then I can share it with my friends really easily. And then it gives me all the data of elevation, all that stuff. And so I try to map out segments that are 10 miles each. And then they usually end at a spot where we can stop at a diner or a cafe and charge. So that way I can top off. Everyone else, basically the person who needs the most battery, we wait for them to get a full charge, and then we go. So it ends up being a nice day to just go and ride. I'm not worried about range at that point. I'm just hanging out with friends and having a good time.
Cool. So a question here is, I have a Kaly Street Carve XL. What do I need to change it to a street setup, if that is possible?
It is possible. I have some more mounts that are for belts when I was doing one setups with the belts. Hit me up, send me an email, and I can put that on your way so you can set it up. I have a setup for the kids. My kids have their boards, and they have set up for the street setup. I just don't like to do it. Feeling like every time you need to do something on that belt and you need to realign that thing, that's a sign by itself. That's like, damn. Yeah, but it is possible. I was thinking of doing like a street version, but then it's too much. I think I should stick to this, and when this thing is running by itself, basically, then we could change our attention to another product, because you don't want to split it. But my main thing is about sounds cliche, but it's about passion. You know, you look at the board. Like, to me, every time I ride, even when I ride urethane, I have a urethane Kaly setup. I don't feel the same. You cannot push as hard because urethane is nice, but urethane has, you need to slide. Urethane has that sliding property, and it's pretty good. The only problem with us is that this board, that's the nice bell, this board weighs too much. And when it starts sliding away from you, you're gone. So it's not like skateboard. You weight so little that you can bring it back, and defy the physics. Just push it back in, pull it, slide it, you know. So, but if you want a strict setup, hit me up. I'll send you a motor mount set. And the belts, I tell them the number of the belt, and you get a belt and just put it up there.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's possible.
Nice. So talking about parts, Ernesto, so you've got some cool parts. I really like the trucks. Would you ever consider like opening up to the DIY market and selling these things as individual parts to people to make their own boards, or are you going to keep it strictly like?
Yeah, to me, basically, I would like people to assemble everything and to do whatever they feel like it. There's a couple of projects going on right now with Love Child. People are setting up some hyper trucks with the Kaly decks, which at the end looks awesome. It has like that wide stance and all that. So I would love to go in there. Right now, the main issue is I need to figure out business-wise, how can I get the price of the truck down? Because, for lack of another part supplies out there, like the Trump trucks, they're really good, but they cast aluminum, so they cost less to manufacture. And at the same time, if you hit something, you lost your truck. So basically, I need to find a sweet spot where I can drop the price, maybe with a new casting manufacturing process, because I bet that certain casting manufacturing process that like them they implemented maybe 14, 15 years ago, you're not going to do all that investment in tooling one more time. So you're talking 15, I don't know how many years ago, manufacturing process. So I need to get a way how to get a new manufacturing process that we could test and will be equivalent to the CNC trucks that we're using right now, because the good and the bad of using gear drives is that you need to have precision. So the sliding surface between the angle, like everything needs to be precise. So we're talking about 0.05 of a millimeter precision, and that's why everything works smooth. So that we're doing. So I need to find how can I partner up with some high-tech manufacturing facilities that are doing things like that now at a good price, or maybe they are excited. Like the people that do my helical drive, I couldn't have done it to the precision that I wanted if the wife of the owner that does of that factory, which she handles customer service, she liked what I was doing, so she was like, nah, I got this, leave that to me, I'll make it happen for you. So those push sometimes, like, okay, ooh, somebody there it's pushing for you. So she came through, and I was able to keep the cost down, because that's why, like, a lot of people have 5,000. I have people have 18,000 miles on a single drive kit without changing, with the motor and everything. So that is something that I would like to keep. Like, look, I'm using a regular motor. So basically, right now in this system, we have a rotational force that goes this way, right? That just rotates the motor. That is a force that the bearings inside the motor can address that. So we got that taken care of. So when you come over here to the contact, when you have a belt, you have a loop around this here, right? So when you hit the brakes, your belt doesn't disengage. It pulls the shaft this way. It pulls down. What that is happening is that is bending the shaft, and it's trying to tilt your motor like this, a little bit like that. So that's why you see a lot of guys, they get problems with the motors, because where the motor shaft touch the bearing, they worn out over there. You've seen that, they worn out. And so right now, this same motor, this is going to be the last run of these motors. I have a new motor that I'm going to try, but I'm making changes to brace all the possible forces that can be generated on the motor. So what I've done over here in the gear is to have, let me see if I can see it. Okay, you see that thing underneath the gear there? So that is a thrust bearing, because the forces that goes in this direction, we need to stop those forces. Just because the thing doesn't move, it doesn't mean that the forces are not there. So, and then there is a 0.10 of a millimeter play on the gear. You can't even see it. So you could feel it, but you cannot see it. So that is like a butter, you know. When you slam those brakes, when you hit a butthole, it's like a butter. When he's getting a punch, if he's just move his head a little bit, it takes more than 70% of the power of the punch. If you just move a little bit in the direction. So the same thing with the gear. I need that slight movement. So when a big hit comes to the wheel that's jet transfer here, it doesn't affect. You see, I could grab it and maybe not. Well, maybe you could see my finger move a little bit, and that is a tiny place. So basically, we are miniaturizing all these things too much, and then we need to pay more attention to all these little things. So I have people. Well, you haven't changed your motors, Brennan, right?
I mean, I have two gears, I have two sets, so I've swapped just because I wanted the color change. So,
all right, so that's the thing.
I might have to buy
the
more
motors
for more
can last
color
longer. Yeah, so that is the thing. Like, let me give you something I'm doing. So it's gonna be too thin. So I've been playing around with Maytech for the Maytech motor. So far, I like the motor design that they came to. So I've been dealing with motor suppliers forever, and there's always a problem, because then once I get the motors, I need to do work on the motors. So now what I decided to do was, let me do another survey and see who is doing what without me having to tell them to do it. So then I realized that Maytech is doing an awesome job when it comes to motor. You know, they're doing everything right. They're doing proper epoxy. They're doing everything so far. It's 100%. I just had one issue only, and it was in the design of a bracing system they have here on the top plate, using some M3 screws. You know, if you know about how material works, when you cut threads on a metal part, or you cut a metal, any type of metal, there is half of a millimeter that's useless because of the effect of the cut itself. Just by cutting it, you just don't damage the piece that you cut. You damage inside the material. If you get a microscope, you're gonna see cracks over there. So if you get an M3 screw that is 2-point-something millimeters, and you cutting a thread that cuts half and half in a circumference, so you're cutting 1 millimeter out of 3. So I'm now writing in 2 millimeters of steel, which is not good. So we have come to terms to design a new bracing system. It's gonna be similar, you know, not to try to change the design too much. So that's gonna be for the new, maybe by the end of the summer, maybe by autumn. The good thing is gonna be backwards compatible with everything. So everybody already has a board. You can just buy a new motor and put it in. It's gonna be a little bit more expensive, because they doing all the steps. They're doing the epoxy, and they're using, I think it is 3M or Loctite. They're using proper stuff. They're doing the balancing. After they do the motor, they balance it, which a lot of suppliers don't do. And then they're doing the bearing in the outside over here. So that is also good. So I've been working on that, but it takes time to get all the kinks ironed out. Yeah. But I think finally we're going to have that done.
Nice. Those
so
motors are awesome.
That's a little
6396s, aren't they? from Maytech.
Question here for UK and EU guys. Are you going to stock any Kaly boards here in Europe?
Well, I wish I could do it from the get-go, but like I said, you know, I need a little certification to sell stuff in Europe if we're going to have a European store selling them. So I need to comply with that. I could sell it from here to there. Honestly, that's no problem. Right now, this is okay. Let me put this on the side and let's talk about that. So right now, what I think is this, right? We've seen a lot of companies get a ton of money, see money to work and fail no matter what. So if they cannot do it, how can we do it? Maybe doing business as usual is not the way to go forward here. Maybe this is something that it's our baby, not like when I say our, not like my baby. Eskate, it's our baby, like all of us. So to me, I think if I could take the complexity and the technicality out of the putting a board together, then if you're a responsible person, you can actually set up a franchise. That's what I think the way we should do it. Let's say you want to say, you know what? I love this thing. Let me take a few $100 that I have over here. Let's see if I can set up something. So we can train you, but what we want to do is take off the complexity. You see, when you put a memory RAM on an upgrade on a laptop, you don't need a freaking degree in electronics. You just take the stuff, put it back in. So that's what we need to get, you know? It's gonna be within a system. It's gonna be within a system where you can actually will have to follow the system. But to me, that way we can scale, because guys that are already having boards, guys that are already doing things, they can actually sell boards. And on top of that, they can service boards. So now that's a little side gig that you already have, and you already like to touch boards, you really like to do this thing. So that's something that you could think and say, you know what, I could get into this, you know, put a few $1,000 in it. Not, you don't have to put down, you know, the kitchen and the sink and your kids, just, you know, a few $1,000 to make it like a business. And then we can, like that, we could just kind of network and grow it. I think that's the best way, because the moment we get capital, people doing capital intensive investments, is fucked, because we already seen it. This is a little tricky. It's a touchy thing, you know. Boosted got a ton of money out of the way. These other guys, what's the name of those guys?
Inboard.
Inboard got a ton of money. So it's not the same. So I think we're gonna have to reach out to the community and see if you're serious and you want to put money down for, not for investment in the company, but to buy the parts or the boards, and you have your stock. And now we can create something. That way you could go to your friend, dude, you're doing this thing, so okay, cool. So here's the parts, you know, and you do it. Because you cannot ask skateboard shops to actually do it, because skateboarding is close to this thing, but it's not this thing. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So it looks like it, but it's not. So that is something we need to have in mind. But you know, I'm just right now redesigning a lot of stuff. You know, all these PCB system, redesigning how everything is gonna connect together, how with all the data that I have, all the parts of the people, which is things that tend to fail the most. So how we can, you know, streamline it, so any regular guy can say, you know what, we can put this together. But from that, you need to be a company. You need to be a company on your end. Kind of just, you know, it needs to be some serious commitment. And I think there's a ton of people that can do it. You know, it's not, you know, it's not rocket science. You need to do it and go all in it, and it'll be okay. And it'll be okay. So that's the way I think, in my case, to scale it up, because we already see that business as usual with $10 million doesn't fucking work, and that's just hilarious.
That's the way to do it, bro.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Tim, have you got any more?
Yeah, because
any more community questions, bro?
No, I was going to say we've kind of gone over our hour. Is there anything you want to add?
do you guys have something to do? Because I'm ready to go. I got some stuff, you know. So well, nothing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Send me a deck.
nothing, bro. That's oh yeah. I think I could send you one now. Yeah,
All right.
those decks are already made. There was something that was aimed for Tim in order not to have the carbon fiber on the top, so he can do his graphics and his art. But the guy who's assembling thought that not on the top but on the bottom, so they put the carbon fiber upside down. It's fun. So Tim's gonna have to do some more work. But nothing, guys. You know, mainly we've been here. You know, trying, like right now. I learned my lesson last year not to take pre-orders, because you know there is a difference when somebody paid $200 for something. They don't care too much. You know, you pay $200. It comes when it comes. When you pay almost $3,000 or you pay almost $4,000 for something, now it's a different game. There is a problem that personally, like I love this thing, and I will not allow any person just because they petty or whatever insecurities they have to, you know, you fight so much with people that you tend to resent them afterwards. So I don't want to go there. You know, it's not like people, oh, get somebody to do it. No, I do it, or I love it and I do it, or I just go back to do my regular job and I still make some money. I'll be okay. But I want to love what I do and you just want to keep loving the thing. You know, when you get that feeling, oh, I'm here with my guys, I'm here with my boys. Like last year, I went to France. I just went by myself. Like I just show up. Like, what's up?
It was mega.
I was just surprised. Everybody. Yeah. So that's my whole point on this, you know. And then there's a lot of people that have the idea that we move with millions of dollars. You know, everybody here is barely making any money because this is new. This is like new thing. This is like new and risky. Like, example, when it's a computer, you can put a lot of money if you have money behind it, because what the computer is gonna do, you know, give you the wrong result of whatever, you know, 2 + 2 is 5, and that's it. But people see the skateboard, the first thing they think is, oh, what's the liabilities on that? How are we gonna cover that? So the big money is not gonna come in, and you know, especially now that a lot of big money fail. So I have taken it that I just better put, if I don't have stuff to send you right away, I better put my stuff out of stock. I just leave it out of stock. That's it. You know, when it's ready, I put it back on. If you want it, you buy it. If you don't want it, then you don't buy it. It's all right, you know. But I know that when you get on it, it doesn't matter what you get. When you get on it, I look at you, and you, doesn't matter. The body language is awesome. Have you seen it, Brennan? You put somebody on the board, you give it to them, they go for a ride, they come back, and you just look at them. And they want to put skills. But you see the smirk over there where he like, so I'm like, okay, you know, and I know it. It's all right if you don't say it, but you know the feeling. It's all about that performance feeling, all about that doing what you want to do when you want to do it, and just have that rush, that little adrenaline rush, that just a little bit. You like a spray, like puff. That's it. You got it. You get that whip, that's good for you. That's it. So that's what we're trying to do, you know, with the stock and stuff. You know, things are gonna get where they're gonna get. We didn't know that the world's gonna take a turn and go downhill to the fuck, you know, but this is where we are, and when we come back, we come back. Yeah.
Cool. Lee, did you want to shout out the shop for Carve? Well,
yeah, we need to do that, don't we? I forgot about that. So, guys, you know, at Carve, we're representing the UK. We're trying to do awesome things for the community, hold events and do community giveaways and awesome stuff for the community. So we set up our own shop, and we're selling merchandise. We're selling T-shirts and hoodies and caps and all these things, guys. So we can raise a bit of money for you guys and put something back into the community. That's really the aim of the game. Just a quick shout out for the merch. So Tim will drop a link for the shop. If you wanted to check it out, guys, and help us out, that'd be awesome. We just want to put some awesome events on, right, Tim? That's the name of the game, really.
All profit goes back into carving events in the community.
Yeah, we're all about community over here, guys.
That's it.
That's what we're trying to do. So, quick merch plug.
It's cool. It's all about that feeling.
For sure, man.
Did you want to wrap it up? We've been going for like 80 minutes. I don't want to like drag this on and take everyone's.
Well, I don't know. Like to me, if you have like maybe 20 more minutes, I could explain you what I wanted to do that coronavirus just destroyed. So if you are up to 20 more minutes, I'm up to. Do you have the time?
Does software let us do it, Tim?
Yeah, we can keep going. If
what happened?
no problem.
I might need to pop off.
Okay, cool. So
I got people waiting for me.
Okay, Brennan. Cool to speak to you.
All right. Take care, Brennan.
Thanks for joining us and being our guest rider this week, Brennan. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Good to see y'all.
Take care, dude. Thank you.
Bye. Take care, brother.
Ernesto, come on then. 20 minutes, bro. Tell us. We want to know.
Okay, cool. So this was the plan last year, right? Last year, after Paris, after Sweden, after riding here in the US, DC. So I was like, you know what? The best thing in Denver, the best thing of riding is when you meet up with people from the internet, but they live across the world. So you got people from the UK, you got people from, let's say, Slovenia, you got people from France, you got people from Australia. So my main thing is, okay, where can we set up an event, or not an event? It will be basically a meetup. How can we have this wonderful adventure? That's where I put on my Instagram, like Kaly Invitational. So my main project was to set up at least like 15 boards in DR, that XL40 boards, and invite people from all over the world so everybody could have that experience of community adventure. So the plan was for everybody just to show up. You get your backpack, you get your safety gear, you get your suntan, you get your sun blocker, and you get your snorkeling gear, and that's all you need. So then we would take care of everything. I don't know how it will be received now that we have the travel restriction and all that, but I think maybe for next year will be something good to explore, because it opens up a possibility of just meeting people worldwide and having these wonderful weekends, like mini holidays. Because if you take it from Thursday to Sunday night or Monday morning, and I take you just to an awesome adventure place, with everything set up for you. You see that island back there from Team Island? I take you to Team Island over there, and it will be just an awesome adventure. Adventure from people that you will have friends that you already know, and people that it will be from all over the world. That way, next time when you are in their area, you have somebody, you have people like that. That frisky, like in myself, last year from the US, it was just me over there. But since I already knew a few guys, I just packed my bag and go. I said, I'm going for a weekend. That's it.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Sure.
It was amazing.
Show was in Paris. It was awesome, dude. I don't know how to speak French. First time in Paris. It's 3 a.m. I'm riding on the highway like crazy because the GPS. I managed to charge the board, but I forgot to charge the phone, so I couldn't follow up. And I check out the exit, and I say, okay, I'm going to the other side. But it was an awesome adventure, crazy adventure, that you don't get to have that often. Everybody, everybody's an adult. You have your life, but if we could set up a adrenaline activities within a safe margin in a place that is, like nothing you've seen, or maybe, like a nice tropical place, then it's like awesome to do.
What are you thinking?
And then with people that you get to know.
Whereabouts are you thinking about doing that? In the Caribbean? Because I know your heritage, your sort of roots are Caribbean.
I'm from Dominican. I'm from Dominican Republic, so I'm next to the resort town. And if you go to my Instagram page and check for the Kaly.NYC Invitational, I had the perfect 30-mile stretch, which is they cut out a road right next to the mountain. So you have you are a mountain pass. That you have the mountain on one side, and then you have the blue water sea, like that island right there next to you. So that's the ride. And then when you get to the end, you have that beach over there, the island, that thing, almost like that. It's just awesome. So,
Nice.
you have all the time, and it's a tourist town, so the hotels, everything is there. So we can make it for a budget. We could make it, and then I'll be supplying the boards and the concierge service. Just come in, have a blast. Yeah, that way. My whole point is, okay, if I could work like a crazy person and then go have a blast doing what I love to do with the people that I love to do, so it doesn't get any better. Like, it's a win-win for everybody.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that was the plan. That was the plan. Basically, I talked with the whole.
I was going to say, is that still? Are you still aiming to sort of do that? But obviously, 2020. Well,
no, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Maybe smaller, maybe 5, maybe 6 guys. Just to touch the water, test the water. I just going to send the boards over there. Send it to my mother. So we already set up on that side. The only thing is, right now with the travel restrictions and everything, and we don't know how people are going to come out on the other side. The economy is going to go back up. And how those things are gonna play it out, but believe me, it's gonna fucking happen. I gotta put it there, and then the thing will be, will we grow it or will we leave it with 6 or 8 guys and that's it? But it's gonna be epic no matter what. The place is there. He's just missing us.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I'd love to do that. It's like a holiday of a lifetime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Believe me, it's an awesome place to skate. It's an awesome place for the boards, because the main thing in Dominican Republic, we're the middle of the road country, so we're not rich. We're not upper, but we're not rich. And this road is made for tourists mainly, so they make sure that it's gorgeous, and it's a pay toll road. So the locals, you don't have that much traffic. Nobody's paying, but there's another road right down the line that you could take you to the same place. It's not as beautiful, but you don't pay for it, so everybody goes that way. So this is a scenic route. It's almost empty all the time and well maintained, so you don't get any surprises. And well, my mother is a doctor in Dominican Republic, so we have medical assistance or everything. It's not supposed to happen, but you better to be prepared. So we got all that set up, and nothing. We just go have some blast. Go to the beach, since the Dominican sun, the tropical sun is different, that thing will burn you. So we could do morning rides, and then we could do afternoon rides to the nighttime, and then we could scuba dive or snorkel dive during the midday. So a lot of activities. It has to be like
good,
4 days, because so we have a lot of coral reefs over there that you could go. There's a lot of fish that you could just no fishing though, but you could go in and just swim. Eat a lot of good food, take a nap, and then when you wake up, we're going. That's it.
Nice.
We're ready to go.
What do you reckon it would cost?
That is the plan.
What do you think it would cost somebody?
Because, well, right now, this thing has helped a little bit, because right now the hotels are going to have good prices. The flight, we'll have to check how the flight situation will go. But mainly, the way I want to do it is, because like, From my point of view, I bet you it's a win-win situation. We have boards on the ground. It's a lot of media, so I don't need to charge you an arm and a leg for the use of the boards. But we can set it up a couple of Airbnbs. There's a lot of nice villas over there that we can take over and rent. So we could split it. It's a community event. To me, the main thing is, okay, it's a win-win for me, because I get a lot of media coming in, and people get to see what we're doing, and at the same time, it's not like trying to make money out of it. If we make a few bucks, but not like trying to, take the kidney with the fat and everything. It's just, just something that we can all arrange and make it transparent so everybody knows what's up. I'm not trying to break the bank with it.
Where's the best place for people to find out about you? Website, Instagram?
Well, right now, Instagram is the best place. Kaly, NYC.Kaly. So you look for us on Instagram.
Okay.
That is the best place. The website, you could leave an email. But mainly, if you see that the boards are not in stock, then I'm sorry. They already know they're in stock. So, but if you want to, come in, communicate, have questions, you can set it up via Instagram. That will be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Because everything else gets just too much. It's just too much.
Okay. We're
All
hitting
right, guys.
half, so I'm gonna call it here. Can we keep you on for 2 minutes after we wrap up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. I know we overran, but it was a really interesting one this week. So yeah, really happy to overrun. Ernesto, thank you for joining us, giving us your time. Lee, is there anything you want to add before we wrap up?
I just wanted to say, always awesome to speak to you, Ernesto. Had a great time in Paris, dude. I really think that you're a shining example of the sort of vendor that we need in this community, man. I think you're super wicked, and I like what you're doing, man. So thank you very much for speaking with us, dude.
Thank you.
Really appreciated.
Oh, anytime, brothers. Anytime. Yeah.
Nice one. For everyone else, we will catch you same place, same time next week.